Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Student of the Game. I am Kyle Nass, the Student of the Game, and listen, if you're here, chances are you like talking about sport, and I am, of course, eternally grateful that you're here listening to me, whether you like sport or not. Maybe you just like me a lot. I don't know. Anyways, of course, thank you for coming aboard here. Hopefully you're checking in with us at the moment live on the Student of the Game Facebook page, on the SOTG, on Twitch or Twitter, on the Huddle Up Network YouTube page, bing, A7BN Sports Facebook page, and of course, the Sertoba Media YouTube channel, where the struggle is real to be awesome, where I was with Drew Willingham and Joey Raymond on the In or Out Sports Debate Show, episode 102. Check that out. That was a really fun time. And hey, listen, I love my dude, Drew Willingham. He's a bad mother father right there, but it was devious how he drew me in to do battle with the great and very cordial Joey Raymond by bringing up an ACC topic. That was crazy all the way around. I would encourage you to check that out just for that segment alone. Of course, they were all money in that way, shape, form, or fashion. So check that out. Of course, upcoming later in the week, you have the Duval Dive with my guy, Travis Holmes, Friday, 11 a.m. So check out all that as well. And if you happen to be missing the stream, you could always check it out on wherever you get your podcast, Student of the Game channel there. Listen, a lot going on this week. Obviously, if you looked at the title, the NFC battle is on. The Cowboys and the 49ers are your main dish, I think, this week. You know, last week it was an AFC thing where the Bills and the Dolphins did battle and won a close game. I can pretty much guarantee you that the Cowboys, listen, I'm not a degenerate. I'm not Mikey Byrne or Ernest Christian of the Huddle Up Podcast, bing, or Earnestly Speaking Podcast in the case of EJ Christian, where I do my Student of the Game report every week, bing. But with all that in mind, I don't bet like those guys do, but my advice, Cowboys, Niners, take the under. Okay, here, you know, I'll leave that at that. And of course, later on, the CEO of Huddle Up Inc. himself, Big Jim Nies, host of the Huddle Up Podcast and 3 Count Thursday, bing, will be here at about the 9:15 hour. We'll get into Mark Mancini and his check-in for the week very closely. An entertaining conversation nonetheless, and definitely some disagreement in the upcoming, you know, if you guys are into the drama, well, so be it. Speaking of drama, what a way to lead into that, right? Speaking of drama, listen, things are getting pretty dramatic. How am I feeling, you might ask? Oh, sure, I still got a little bit of a cough, and maybe you notice I'm playing a little bit hurt, but I've been feeling better than I have in the past 3.5 weeks. You know, yay, antibiotics. But now I'm worried about something that's even longer term than that. I, as a member of the Huddle Up Podcast, picked the Bengals, as we did in unanimity, to win the Super Bowl. And they're looking pretty damn bad. Listen, I've had my criticisms of the Tennessee Titans, even though I have them finishing technically second in the AFC South, where I previewed that with the 3-point conversion earlier in the month here, or actually no, early last month. This is October now, so bing, by the way, 3-point conversion. Shouts to Raphael Haynes. And by the way, check out the Duval Dive on their iHeartRadio channel in the upcoming week, so look out for that too. That'll be fun. Lots of changes coming to there too. I should say lots of another edition coming soon that I'm not ready to announce yet, but we'll just say something was signed recently, so you know it's going to be official, right? Anyways, announcements coming. Be ready. But man, listen. And I talked about this, I think, at a couple weeks back with Ernest Christian, but we'll do it here. The Bengals, I'm not worried, but I'm a little worried. Like, at the end of the day, listen, I've dropped the stat a few times that Joey Burr is listen, he's 4 seasons in, he's 4 seasons in. At that point, he's played 4 sets of the opening 2 games. of a season, right? And this is, of course, including last year where he came off the appendectomy, the ridiculously long game, the overtime win by the Steelers that opened last year. And I mean, the Bengals were looking bad at that point. They were looking bad at this point last year overall as well. Now, this year they, are obviously 1-3. This time last year, they were 2-2 at least, but did start 1-2 in that situation. But I mean, the difference between 2-2 and 1-3 doesn't seem like a lot, I will grant, especially when you have the Cardinals on your schedule and then the Seahawks are upcoming, both allegedly winnable games, unless you have one Joey Burr in the pocket. And I'm not here to say that Joey Burr can't move at all, but Burrow isn't like known for being a sprinter, right? This isn't a guy who's going to take off and run like a Patrick Lavon Mahomes the second, or apparently a Trevor Lawrence. If you saw the London game at Wembley there last week against the Falcons, I mean, listen, maybe Bijan Robinson had a single run that was longer than Trevor Lawrence's 2 runs in that I think it was a 38-yarder, 36-yarder. But punchline being, at the end of the day, Burrow ain't going to run like that, especially when his calf is what's hobbling him, right? Like that's the problem. That's the issue, okay? And if he's in trouble, which that offensive line, while improved, is still the most notorious element of that Bengals team when healthy, right? Listen, you don't expect Joseph Lee Burrow. Well, I mean, he doesn't have middle name status, but I'm saying it here for gravitas, if you will, to run 42 yards on the day and average 5.3 yards a carry with a 22-yard scamper under his belt. I mean, that's not a thing that's happening. At least, especially not with a calf injury. But Burrow's not that guy that's going to break off a big run like that. And matter of fact, when it comes to run games, I'm not here to say the Bengals are bad, but it's certainly not the feature. But if your quarterback is limited, then Jamar Chase and anybody else, TJ Higgins in that group, right? They're now rendered useless too. Then what do you got? And it's not that the Bengals defense is bad per se, but when you're put in bad situations and teams get opportunities to, tee up on you, knowing what you're doing, becoming one-dimensional in a football game, like you might in the case of a game that you eventually lost 27-3, that's a problem. But I will say this too, to lift up the Bengals and why I'm not necessarily worried yet. And I know the running joke is, Derrick Henry's a better quarterback in that game. Stop looking at the quarterback rating, for God's sake. That's not a real stat. Stop it. Okay. But I mean, listen, to the credit of the Titans, they beat them with the things that they are best at: a wicked good defensive front and Derrick Henry, who had rushing and passing touchdowns in the contest. That's what it is, right? The offensive line is bad. Joey Burr lost a fumble, so there was a turnover in the game, and was basically 5 yards of completion, right? Or 5 yards in attempt. Not great, Bob. Okay? That's just an entirely awesome matchup for the Titans. This is the kind of stuff they expected to see in the AFC Championship game a few years back. That didn't happen because Ryan Tannehill threw a bunch of interceptions. Oh, sure, Tannehill had one. But listen, he only threw the ball 25 times. Okay? I think the reason why the Bengals are 1-3 isn't just that Joey Burr is hurt. I think the Titans just match up particularly well to the Bengals. I might have even picked the Titans in this game because of all of the above. I need to check the tape. I don't know if I was brave enough to do that or not. But now that I see it and I have the powers of Captain Hindsight, I can see how it all came to fruition they did. Maybe I underestimated how hurt Joe Burrow is. And maybe I should be worried about the prospect of Joe Burrow battling Josh Dobbs, who has played some quality football with the Arizona Cardinals. No, I'm not gonna do anything stupid like put them in a top 5 in a power ranking like some morons out there, hashtag Pro Football Focus, did with the frickin' Houston Texans. What are we doing? Hey, I mean, I don't know what's worse. You let me know. Let me know on Twitter and Instagram or Facebook or whatever. What's the bigger flub there, right? The Texans as a top 5 team or the Colts as a top 17 in a power weight? What are we doing? Sorry, I got a little triggered. Speaking of getting triggered, let's head over to college real quick. Boy, listen, all of you who I thought USC was going to the college football playoff, I apologize. I do. I thought USC was going to have a better defense, and then we got 48-41 in Boulder, USC versus the Colorado Buffalo, which, I mean, listen, I'm going to play just part of the remix real quick, just so you know how I feel about Coach Dion.
Who is swag? If ain't swag. Who is swag? If ain't swag.
Okay, I got no beef with Deion Sanders and the Buffalo. I'm cheering for them. I'm calling bowl game for them. I said the over when I went over it with what they could do and with the Huddle Up crew in the preseason. Bing. But USC can't play defense like that. Okay, I'm not ready to sell on them. Playing in Boulder, Colorado is now officially incredibly difficult. All right, I don't care what college football venue you're talking about anymore. Is it Death Valley? Is it the Swamp? Is it the Bounce House? Is it Tuscaloosa? Is it South Bend? Is it any other relevant college football venue? I don't care. Boulder, Colorado is a zoo in a way it never has been before. And will probably stop being after Deion Sanders leaves if he does. I'm just saying. But for USC to keep the Colorado Buffalo in the game without a guy who's ironically their top offensive weapon in the skill positions that's not Shedeur. I mean, does a quarterback count as a weapon? I guess not. I guess he's the facilitator, whatever. But Travis Hunter's not in this game. Their top corner and top receivers not on the field. Their offensive line is allegedly really bad. And maybe Shedeur Sanders can move around that well in the pocket. Maybe that's a thing they can do. I don't know. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that defense has to be better, right? Utah got beat by Oregon State. And that could put USC in a position, if they're playing like that, to get beat by Utah. This is me making all sorts of jokes with Big Jim Nies coming here based on his college prediction last year, picking Utah over USC and making me all sad. I'm joking, Jim. It's okay. You know. By the way, everybody who's trying to hype me up about Notre Dame, stop. You had trouble with Duke. And I'm sorry, I didn't buy Duke at 18. Maybe I'm the problem. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Okay? Willing to admit that. But the way that the Irish looked didn't convince me. Now, credit up and down. I don't have a problem with Coach Freeman. I listen, I'm a guy who defended Brian Kelly more than certain, Irish fans who allege that they don't hate Brian Kelly, not to mention any names, but he's a really nice guy. See what I did there? But I'm not feeling them as a top 10 team. Matter of fact, the only thing I think that's a bigger crime, why is Penn State outranking any of the following? Oregon, Colorado, USC, and I don't care anything about Boulder in that front because at least 1 point Colorado was ranked. Penn State's biggest win is beating the crap out of a juggernaut like Northwestern. For context, for those who don't know the Big Ten well enough, it's like Vanderbilt is the academic brother in the SEC that doesn't belong. That is currently Northwestern. Now, I know they were good for a minute. They had some guys that came out of the draft the year that they made it to the conference championship a few years back, but they haven't done a whole lot since. I mean, overall, down year for the Big Ten, apparently. But why are we taking Penn State seriously? I would go through their schedule of stuff, but I don't want to take too much time. I got to get the Madman here. The Madman needs to cometh so I could talk to Big Jim about the NFL and this Cowboys 49ers matchup. But why with Penn State? Stop it. Get some help. Actually, help us all because we don't want Penn State. Come on, man. Anyways, with that in mind, here's the Madman himself, Mark Mancini.
There's the guy himself for his weekly pitch-in about the week that was and will be in sports. The Madman cometh, Mark Mancini. What's up, brother?
Well, in another month I'll be 62 and I feel good, slim, man. I don't need no slim fast shakes. Plenty of walking and everything. And you age great, man, as you get older. But I will tell you, man, there's a lot to talk about, man. I'm on the top show that's sweeping the country, man. Move over Florida. Move over DeSantis, man. We got this thing going.
Listen, my wife would love to hear that last part for sure. I'll play the clip for her. But listen, man, I'm going to be a good host. I know that the stickball isn't my thing. I don't run with that formally. But it's October where you live, and I know you doing Philly Smack. It's Red October for your Phillies, as they call it. But walk me through the baseball playoffs you got coming out, man. Tell me what you got.
Well, I will tell you, I got the Phillies and Brewers in the National League, and the Phillies, that's going to be 4 hours of hell to play in that place. Marlins found that out, last night. When you look at this Philly team, they all pull for each other. It's different. You don't see a lot of that these days, and it's really refreshing to see that where everybody's got everybody's back. Not like in LA, where this could be the second biggest market, and yeah, it's 70-degree weather, but I ain't playing or working for this team, the Dodgers. If there's 30 teams in the league, send me to Minnesota in April. I'll play for the Twins. I just don't like the way they treat guys. And you know what? Maybe Rodriguez knew something with the Tigers when he vetoed that trade to the Dodgers. He said, you know what? I'm not interested in your second biggest market. I'm not interested in your tacos or sushi. I'm just looking at the way you treat people. And this is a far cry than the O'Malley's owning it and treating, Steve Howe with respect when he was going through his drug problems. God rest his soul. But the Trevor Bauer and the Julio Urias thing left me with a bitter taste in my mouth. Come on, man. You're with somebody more than your wife pretty much 200, 300 days a year. And you throw a guy to the curb because you don't have all the facts. And even if you had all the facts, why weren't you reeling the guy in and helping him out? To me, the Dodger organization, I'm not working or playing for him, man. I'm sorry. And I might catch a lot of flack, but I'm going to stick by those comments.
No, I get it, man. I mean, Bauer basically recently released a tape. I mean, this story is big enough that I know about it, and I saw his little video confessional, for lack of a better way to call it, about how evidence came to light about surrounding the allegations. I don't want to get into it too much, but now that all the facts are shaking out, I mean, listen, for all those in the court of public opinion that put things in the guilty until proven innocent vein, hopefully learn something from the Bauer situation. Yeah.
Well, not only that, I mean, the sit here and dismiss yourself from the organization, from the player is beyond me, because now, when you look at this organization, to me, it's got mud on its face. It really does. Maybe you're going to need a few towels to get rid of it and build some respect around the league, because even though, they won 100 games 4 years in a row and everybody talks about that, how important would Julio Urias be right about now? Because you got a broken down horse in Kershaw, and you got a bunch of rookies, and you got Lynn that's led the league in home runs. Good luck with that. Arizona or Milwaukee can come in your backyard this weekend and hammer you.
Yeah, and listen, there's a lot going on there for sure. October, that possibility is certainly on the table. I know you're talking about.
Let me ask you, what's with the deal with the 17,000 fans in Tampa? Come on, man, show more respect than that.
Well, I mean, listen, if you're looking for Florida fans to not be fickle outside of college football, I cannot help you, Mark Mancini. Anyway, with that in mind, you talking about a lot of the NL there. Give me some AL stuff. How you feel about that?
I had the Mariners to get in there with the Jays. The Mariners went home. They didn't get qualified, but the Jays are hanging. They got a must win. But Minnesota, 18 years or 18 games of finally winning a game. I mean, I'm going to take a quote out of my buddies. I think they haven't won anything since the iPhone came into existence.
He's not wrong. Yeah, man. There's a lot of exciting stuff, playoffs being, October, what it is. Granted, I'm not paying so much attention because I have amazing stuff like your USC Trojans. It's really kind of making me a little bit worried. I got to tell you, Mark Mancini, I've been preaching that gospel, and they come out and go with a boulder and let Dion in his Colorado Buffalo drop, 41 points on them without their best offensive player.
Well, first of all, how do you drop the Trojans each and every week? They go from 6-9. I understand Colorado dropped 41 on them. I understand, the week before Arizona State, I think, put 28 on them or whatever. But how do you drop a team because the defense let up points? They're winning, and it might be winning ugly, but, they're still winning. These prognosticators that have these guys keep dropping. That's why you need a format of 12 teams. We'll find out. USC will be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you there. It's a shame that next year's the year where the 12-team playoff comes, because this year is exactly why the 12-team playoff is happening. Now, granted, I'd have been happier with
I don't have much stock in a guy sitting there eating hot dogs and drinking Cokes in the press box, even though I'm there too, to sit here and ridicule the USC team.
Sir, I do not eat hot dogs.
Yeah, I like the hot dogs. I'm just not eating 20 of them. I've seen some guys put away that many, and then they have to run down to the Costco and load up again. I'm not one of those guys. Keep this slim look. Yeah.
But
come on, man. Don't eat your breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the press box, man. Come on, share a little, man.
I have to bring one thing out here, though. Part of the thing that's keeping your Trojans and Oregon and even Washington down, who I'm high on, by Michael Penix and all that.
Definitely. Well, Penn State's going to be in this equation. They just keep
That's the problem. It's your Penn State that doesn't belong up there. That's part of the reason. Who the hell have they beat, Mark Mancini? I am done with your Penn
I don't know.
State.
They steamrolled Northwestern the other day, and they came in 2-2. Hey, watch out. The Nittany Lions, they're a year away from blowing this thing way open, man.
Well, we're not talking about 24, Mark Mancini. We're talking about 23.
I know. Well, I don't know how they keep having Clemson hang into this thing, but
now that you're right about Clemson.
The Pac-12 is looking good. Washington's hanging in there. You got Utah, and
the big one this week. Washington and Oregon do battle this weekend, right? That's going to be a fun one, man.
Yep, USC I think plays Arizona, so that should be an interesting one as well.
And listen, I'm with you on this. Why are we still hyping up Duke? Notre Dame is still a top 10 team. I have my issues there, but why are we still hyping up Duke? What are we doing?
Yeah. Well, not only that, what about my Panthers, man? They're pathetic, man.
Well,
Virginia Tech whacking them. I mean, this
I didn't want to bring up a sore topic.
Yeah, well, I'll bring it up for you, man. That's sad, man. It's like, what the hell? At least now I got hockey coming around the corner next week, and the Penguins will open up against the Blackhawks.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week for sure. But let me go in with this too. What happened to your Falcons, bruh?
Yeah, well, they're hanging in there 2-2. I mean, it should be an interesting thing, and I think they'll bounce back. I'm going to hang with them. Hey, but the Skins almost went into Philly and pulled one, and people were laughing at me.
Well, I'll say this about your Red Tails: them darn near losing to the Cardinals, them losing to the Broncos, not a great look. Just saying.
Well, and not only that, I know.
Didn't they beat the Broncos? I'm trying to remember now. Anyways, the point is, you struggled with the Broncos. That's the point.
The Skins will kill the Bears tomorrow night because the Bears could be the worst team in the league. I thought Green Bay would be there with the Bears following second. The Bears might have exceeded them. But how about that embarrassing thing with the Giants, the ball, embarrassing Jones on the sidelines throwing the clipboard? Come on, man. This is why Pete Carroll, people should take notice that Pete Carroll, is a player's coach that, keeps, they lose Russell Wilson, but they make a man out of Geno Smith. The ball, man, I lost a lot of respect for him throwing a clipboard and walking away and embarrassing Jones like that, man. It's a team effort, man.
But that's the coach of the year, Mark Mancini. What do you mean?
Don't stand here and take notes from the Los Angeles Dodgers on how to run a franchise and embarrass your players.
Yeah. By the way, they did beat the Broncos. So yeah, I was speaking out of turn there. Yeah. So I mean, your Red Tails coming back the way they did, and while the 2-point conversion was questionable, nonetheless they got the victory. I'm good with all that, but I think just like your Falcons, Desmond Ritter is the problem. Your Red Tails, the problem is Sam Howell, because you can't spell Howell without a couple of L's. That is what it is.
I like Howell. Rivera seems to be the problem, but if you want to look at model franchises that take care of business, you look at Pete Carroll, you look at the New England Patriots. These are guys that look out for their guys, not the Dodgers and the ball over there embarrassing players and throwing people to the curb and railroading them with the Metrolink.
Well, I'd push back a little bit on the Patriots being a take care of their guys scenario. I think Richard Seymour, Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, and a few others might have some questions, including Thomas Edward, Patrick Bieber, Brady. And now lately, apparently, Mac Jones, there's a lot of drama. Apparently, he's bratty or there's some sort of drama there. I'm not out here trying to say that Bill Belichick is this master of magnanimity. Okay, that's not where I'm sitting. As far as that. By the way, speaking of model franchises and struggles, Mark Mancini, I told the world that Deshaun Watson would not be able to mentally handle being the villain, and the Browns with an awesome defense, like the Jets are an awesome defense that struggle and doing battle well against Patrick LeVar Mahomes II. The Browns struggling a bit, getting worked by your Ravens, right?
When was the last time the Browns have won in Pittsburgh during the regular season since I was in high school? I mean, it's just a clown show there in Cleveland. It really is. But yeah, the Browns are just pathetic. Watson, $230 million guaranteed money is just an astronomical waste of money. I don't know what these guys were looking at when they gave him the money, but Three's company, man, and maybe. The more and more I look at Deshaun Watson, he might be looking like Deshaun, out of the starting role there.
Yeah,
in Cleveland.
Yeah. So he didn't start this past week, so I mean that was there's that. Yeah, no, you make a point. Granted, it did not go well there either offensively without Watson starting. Yeah. Let's go with a different story, something a little bit better. The Bills doing what they did to the Dolphins. Are you one of these that's trying to crown them the top team in the conference?
Well, I've said it from the beginning. You could play these shows back. I wasn't buying stock in the Dolphins. I mean, they haven't been relevant since Dan Marino. And, and when you look at this team, they're like the UCLA Bruins, 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 5-2. When you're up against a team like Buffalo, you're going to get manhandled, whether it's in the snow or, the leaves are starting to turn. We'll find out what the Dolphins do from here, but Buffalo is a dangerous squad, man. They're clicking on all cylinders, and I've always told you this. I don't need to buy a flight to the East Coast. I'll just hang on Josh Allen's, football there and get there. But I will, talking about franchises and to circle back on this thing, I lost a lot of respect on the whole thing when they were ripping, Bounty Gate and the New Orleans Saints. Who doesn't prepare their team to knock the quarterback out? Even in high school, we don't know these things, but I'm sure, the coach goes, hey, you get a few sacks here, pull a Mac here and get 6 sacks. We'll buy you a couple steak dinners. That was unfair with the New Orleans Saints and Sean Payton. So
hold on. It wasn't just a matter of, hey, sack the quarterback. It was actually hit with intent to hurt. Okay, intent
Well,
to cause injury, that was the issue. Like, listen, I'm
well,
all for letting the guy know you're there and giving him an extreme lump tap if you're on defense, so to speak. But it's different when you're targeting injuring a guy. That's why it was a scandal.
well, and not well. First of all, maybe it's taken out of context a little too, because in the heat of the moment, you want to take out the quarterback and knock him out and all that. And, these maybe the helmet goes down a little and you go after these guys. I mean, hey, are we going to put quarterbacks in skirts here down in the near future? I mean, this is football, and it's all out. And I'm sure this thing gets pushed in high school. I'm sure it gets pushed in college. That take out the quarterback. That's the guy that's that's going to dictate where this thing is going to go. If it's going to stay first down and 20, first down and 30. So I'm looking at that, but I think it was an unfair thing. And getting back to the Patriots and. The Colts complaining about footballs. Hey, you're using a damn football yourself here. And you get beat by 45. You didn't get beat by 3. You got beat by 30 to 45 points. And you're complaining about the New England Patriots. I mean, when you're a winning franchise, people are going to come out on you. Look at the Houston Astros.
Or, well, you can be a winning franchise, and you can also have a history.
There's a lot of teams that cheat that don't get caught. The Dodgers were brought up in this equation too, and I don't know how they slipped through the cracks. But it's funny when you're a winning franchise like the Astros and Patriots, and all fingers start to get pointed because they're looking for something on you.
But it's not just that they're winning franchises, Mark. There's history of transgression, okay? Like Bountygate wasn't the first thing. There was Spygate first. The whole reason why we're talking about gates in the NFL is the Patriots at that juncture.
Well,
it was about being a repeat offender, not being a champion.
And show me in '94 when baseball was a dead sport, and they brought the slogan back, "Chicks dig the long ball," and Bud Selig threw all those guys that saved the sport under the bus.
Hey, man, if you want me to defend Bud Selig, listen, if you want me to defend Bud Selig, you're in the wrong place. But let me tell you, I am on record, even as a non-baseball guy, talking more trash than you can find at a landfill on Bud Selig. Let me be clear. And not just about like declaring.
That's exactly what I'm saying is this guy threw everybody under the bus. He's sitting in the car with the engine running while these guys supposedly robbed the bank, and you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Well, no. Listen. I mean, it's.
You keep the home run. You keep the home run king out of the Hall of Fame. You keep Roger Clemens out of there. The list can go. Pete Rose, the all-time hits leader. You keep these guys out of baseball that saved your sport and put them on the map. I mean, come on.
Again,
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And the great thing about this show, Kyle, is we don't sugarcoat it. We bring it to the. They might not agree with us, but they know we're true to what we believe in, and we're consistent each and every week.
Try to be. I mean, hey, listen, you're still trying to defend Desmond Ritter, so there's that. But I'm trying to find the guys that I'm trying to find the guys that keep eating all the hot dogs in the damn press box. Hey, maybe they should be just as notorious as Bud Selig. I'm with that. Listen.
Hey, you know what? You got to eat a couple days before you cover a game, my friends.
Well, hey, I'll defend it like this. I get there early for a couple hours before kickoff when I'm doing like football games in particular. Not so much basketball, which you will see me quite a bit more at the Amway Arena covering the Orlando Magic here upcoming. The preseason starts in a couple weeks, and that tip-off on October 25th. I will be in the building. The show's going to be pre-recorded that night. I got to try to be at two places at once.
Now, who are they playing that night, if I may ask?
Oh, that would be the Houston Rockets.
Wow, the Rockets come to town. Well, I'll be busting out the beanie for my Milwaukee Bucks. I'm a big Bucks guy.
Oh, hey, the Bucks will be in Orlando at some point. I'm planning to attend that game to see what I see with Dame Lillard and your boy Giannis combining there.
Great guys, a Greek freak and everything. I've had a chance to interview him quite a few times. Great guy. But, yeah, we'll find out what the 7-6 stick looks like in San Antonio. I'm not a big fan of that guy. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. We'll find out. He's going to have to put some more meat on his body. Good luck with Green coming at him when you play the Warriors.
Draymond versus Wemby will be an interesting pairing. I think that's a good point you make. But hey, let's put it this way. If Wemby makes it through his first year, Green might be retired by then. So there's hope.
I'm telling you, keep your eyes on that guy. The Heat got the UCLA kid that the Heat grabbed with the 18th pick. I'm sold on that one. Jaquez, man. Jaquez is the guy, man. I'm keeping an eye on him.
Man, listen, I wish I could keep you longer, but you told me I got 20 minutes with you. We're coming up
next week I got longer, man. I love you. I got to make time for your show, man. This is the show that's, I'm telling you, sweep. Forget the primaries and everything, man. This show sweeps the country.
Hey, listen, I wish I had that kind of pull.
Let Trevor Lawrence know, man. I'm a big fan of his, man. I love Trev.
Hey, what's that?
Trev train.
Oh yeah, well, listen, you're right. You're riding your way to the Prince's Palace, huh?
Yeah, I love the Trev train, man. I love that guy, man, and he's gonna get the Jags in the playoffs. I'm telling you, watch out. You know, you hit peaks and valleys in anything you do. You just got to hit them peaks more so than the valleys.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for the offense to do a little bit better. Lately, the defense has been carrying them, something that hasn't really been brought up a lot in the stats. I wrote about it this past Sunday in the Jaguar Report of SI. Bing! So with all that in mind, thank you, by the way, for the opportunity for the plug, Mark Mancini.
I love you, brother, man. I'm always looking out for you. You know, money comes and goes. Relationships are priceless. We're not going anywhere, brother.
Amen. But unfortunately for now, for this segment, you'll be heading out. Please tell the world where you can be found, Mark Mancini.
XM Sirius, WWDB AM 860 out of Philly. Just finished the Pirate Podcast, the Giant Podcast, and looking for more things. And being a part of this thing in Florida is great with you, my brother. I love you dearly. Say hi to the family, and I'll see you next week.
Hey, man, listen, I know we debated, but hey, it's still brotherly love here. I feel that, brother. We'll catch you next time.
Agree to disagree. That's the great thing. That's what makes us what we are. We're peanut butter, 6 inches, Steve Carlton, Tim McCarver. We bring it.
I like it, man. We'll catch you next time, Mark.
An honor, joy, and privilege as always to have on Mark Mancini. You know, something I forgot to touch on. And it'll transition nicely here as I bring on one of the most decent human beings I know. But, you know, I got to throw a bit of shade at Rodney Harrison trying to quote dig from Chris Jones and actually calling a quarterback he just covered, oh, but you know he's trash, trying to get a soundbite out of the classy Chris Jones. Like, listen, I ran into people literally connected to a church there to interview Chris Jones about his faith in Arizona and Phoenix, man. And I'm not trying to tell you every churchgoer is, or even alleged Christian is a good person. We can make jokes about presidents in the past, but I will say Chris Jones is a classy dude. I met him in person. And Rodney Harrison, over and above trying that tactic, which was outright gross, should have been smart enough to know that one going to work on Chris Jones. And Big Man handled it and dominated that guy. And he didn't get a sound bright. He just looked like the guy stealing money that he is. And already I got Ernest Christian talking up, we should do an episode about the top 10 people that Kyle thinks stealing money in the media. Oh, great. I finally get some opportunities to do some stuff and make some money in the field, and now EJ Christian wants me to trash myself. Wonderful. But you know what? You know a guy who I'll never have that problem with? The most decent human being I know in media, my man, Big Jim Nies, CEO of the Huddle Up Podcast Inc. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Kyle? Man, I don't know that I can live up to that moniker, but I will always do my best.
Hey, listen, you aren't maybe I'm more like a kind of a Garth Brooks kind of thing, and I know friends in low places. You're just not one of them.
Well,
see, it's all relative, Big Jim.
That is the truth. That is the truth. I will any comparison to my man Garth, I'll take though.
Hey, listen, with that in mind, I mean, I'll put it this way, you're usually a pretty objective fan, but relatively, you go completely Notre Dame homer on your observations podcast this week, but everybody should still check it the hell out.
I mean, if it's my personal observations, shouldn't I go homer on it though, if I'm being honest?
I mean, see, homer. He brings the soundboard with him. I like.
I don't go anywhere with that. It's like the American Express card, Kyle. I don't leave home without it.
So apparently not, man. I can't front on any of that. And listen, I have to say, Jim, to this extent, despite you being a decent human being, you are absolutely intolerable. Your Orioles are making it in. Your Notre Dame Fighting Irish are allegedly top 10.
Allegedly.
I mean, whether they should be top 10 or not, I won't argue with you on, but I will hold steady that they should be higher than Alabama right now.
I mean, I'm not angry at it. I think you're just more bitter about Buckley being a quarterback anywhere else or even on a roster.
I will take Sam Hartman over Tyler Buckner.
I know, for president. We have
15 days out of the week, my friend.
If you want that debate, you're not getting it from me, okay? And now the Cowboys are good too, and you're just absolutely insufferable. Granted, I don't think you were one of the tools in question that has them going to the damn Super Bowl. You're not that unhinged, but
I do not have them going to the Super Bowl in my official Huddle Up podcast predictions from the beginning of the season. Bing.
But listen, I'll put it this way, big man. I hope for a fact that the Caps aren't a factor in the postseason in hockey, because good God, you're already a mess on Twitter.
It was funny. I was talking to my boss the other day, because a lot of times our meetings go a little bit of work discussion and then it's a lot of sport discussion, which is how any boss and
rightly so.
How any boss relationship and discussion should go. But I was like, I don't know how to exist really in this world. Like it's a very strange place for me to be, like with the Orioles being good and the Hershey Bears coming off a Calder Cup win. And
oh God, I forgot about the Bears. I up and I didn't say it.
With the Capitals, they have a new coach. Hopefully, that should lend itself to be in a better situation. The Cowboys are regular season good. We will figure out the postseason when we get there. Notre Dame, obviously, 3 points and half a yard away from being 6-0 at this point. So it's fun but terrifying at the same time.
Well, hey, for all our debates on your homerism, we both agree Penn State sucks. Anyways,
that is true. I do wish and like it feels weird because I kind of wish and almost hope that they end up beating Ohio State when they play them, because I feel like I have more nemesis with Ohio State this season than I do Penn State.
That's fascinating. Well, but at the end of the day, though, you're losing to Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, I should want the Buckeyes to win, but
I'm not saying you should want anything. I'm just telling you the latent benefits of your suffering. That's all.
As I've said multiple times on Twitter, I think Ryan Day is a painted hair. So I will, I will leave it at that.
That's some research I'm going to have to do. What do you do more often? Blame the refs or talk about painted hair Ryan Day? That's a toss-up.
Oh, it's definitely refs. I mean, let's be fair. That goes across sports.
It's funny. I just thought somebody was telling me I just manifested that you complain about the officials. But anyways, enough about that.
Complain about the officials, tell the truth, whatever. Tomato, Kyle.
Man, listen. I had to lighten you up a little bit and call you a great human being, because there's going to be plenty of ish to be talked allegedly with you being a Cowboy fan and coming in here talking about the 49ers and my alleged homerism aside. I think I would feature this game anyway. Like, listen, if you look at most sane power rankings that don't do stupid stuff like put the Texans at 5.
Yeah. Look, here's the deal, man. I think the Texans, I mean, they're obviously arriving much quicker than expected. Give it a few more weeks and we can maybe start to have the discussion of where they sit in the AFC and where they sit in the NFL. But the Texans, it's a little premature to be putting them anywhere near the top of anything at this point.
Whoa. Talking too fast about arriving. Define arriving. I have them winning 7 games. Jim Nies on the 3-point conversion in the AFC South preview, bing, that I did beginning of last. Oh, right. The soundboard's here. My bad. Sorry. Hopefully I don't get any problem with SAG here and my voice acting being replaced by a machine here. That might be a problem. Be careful with that, Jim. But
we'll figure that out.
Yeah, right. I mean, listen, technical people deserve to get paid too. And that's That's decent human being and great producer here, Big Jim Nies, producing a different damn show, apparently. Shoot. Anyways, I mean, I would have cursed, but this is an EJ show. Anyways,
that is true as well.
But yeah, this game upcoming is crazy. And let me tell you where I'm at. Obviously, we're not going to pick a winner here because you're going to help me do picks in a minute. But when I look at this game, this is just two defenses that cancel each other out, essentially, in my mind, for the most part. Not in that they won't matter, as in, like, they're going to basically choke each other's offenses. Like, listen, right. I wasn't a part of Degenerate-a-thon. That is the picks on the Huddle Up podcast. As fun as that is, and as apparently as much as I've been kicking EJ's ass on the NFL part, but nobody wants to talk about that apparently now that I know I'm getting tracked and I'm doing better. Shouts to Mikey Byrne. But he take the under in this game is the only thing I would recommend it. Like, you as a good host picked it to talk about it because it's a great game. Don't bet this unless it's the under, right?
Yeah, I think that's the safest play. I wouldn't touch point spread for either team because, you know, it's going to come down to, I think it's going to come down to maybe a broken play, busted coverage somewhere. Is one of the quarterbacks or both of them going to make mistakes, and how many are they going to make, sort of a deal? And I don't even necessarily want to even frame it that way because I think that's maybe disingenuous to Brock Purdy and to Dak Prescott before the game even starts. Like, which defense is going to force a turnover as opposed to like which quarterback is going to make a mistake.
Interesting. The Cowboy wants to dodge the conversation about which quarterback's most likely to commit a turnover. Fascinating, Jim Nies.
Well,
very fascinating.
I mean, what are we doing? Are we going Stephen A. Smith on this show? Because that's a clown show in and of itself. But anyway, no, I like.
Well, sir, if you do that again, if you said Skip Bayless, I would have ejected you like if it was EJ. And I'd be like, well, we lost, Jim. I know better the football gods had something to say. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But 100%. If you're going to touch this game at all, and I don't think it's the smartest play. Definitely the under, because I think we're definitely going to learn a lot about both teams and where they're at. A month into the season, I mean, yeah, I think it's more fair to quote unquote trust. There's that T word again that gets thrown around.
Money. Who do you trust?
Right.
Who do you trust?
You know, like but I think you can trust the Niners more. But I think the Cowboys are still working on finding themselves and finding their new offensive identity. And hopefully they continue to improve on that as the season goes on.
Right. No, I think there's a lot of there. The Cowboys certainly haven't been tested, yet somehow they lost a game. And
that one hurts.
I don't want to talk too much trash on the Cowboys, as fun as that should be. You know, you mentioned the Zach Martin injury. I don't think that's it. I don't think we're talking enough about Josh Dobbs in general. I don't know if it's because it's the Cardinals. I don't know if it's because it's West Coast. I don't know what. But Josh Dobbs has been forced to play in a lot of crap situations, right? You'll remember he was on the Titans trying to salvage that team that had basically no air threat, that had an injured Derrick Henry, that lost 6 straight games. And it wasn't necessarily because of him. Yeah, he struggled some. Yeah, exactly. And Rayshawn Jenkins did hit his hand to force the fumble that decided that game in one of the strangest endings I've seen. That wasn't the overtime game. That was Jaguars Cowboys. No offense, Jim. Honestly, that was a crazy ending I was there for in person.
Yeah, no. I mean, here's the thing. The Cardinals look to be, like I know on with Ernest's preseason predictions, and even when we ran down the over-unders on the Huddle Up podcast, like the thing that we thought the Patriots might be, like I know the words like one of the best 5-12 teams in the history of the NFL got thrown around about the Patriots, but like that may end up somewhat being what this Cardinals team is. Like they look like they're going to be a challenging out, and there's going to be weeks where they win games that they quote unquote shouldn't, right? Like there's like no disrespect to the Cardinals, but the Cowboys should have won that game. They didn't. The Cardinals showed up. The Cowboys, I don't know what exactly happened with the Dallas Cowboys in that game, but the Cardinals won. They earned that win. I won't take it away from them. yeah, like Dobbs has been playing pretty well with a cast of who the heck is this guy.
By the
So
way, are we done thinking the Cardinals are tanking, or are they just that bad at it? Like we went from
right, like how bad
Williams-
are you when you're not even good at tanking, right? Like and that's the thing. I mean, there are maybe a team, Chicago Bears, or two that that you can look at and go, yeah, this team's throwing it away. That is not the Arizona Cardinals. We all assume that it would be, but it is not for sure.
Well, I mean, I think the Bears just are incomplete. And I mean, if they didn't just bring in Sean Payton, I know another team that would be eligible for it if you happen to be reaching for the soundboard at the moment to make it look
The Denver Broncos.
producing gold. Anyways, yeah, so if you go back and check the Huddle Up podcast, EJ's bottom 5 tool time, listen, it was a little bit less Tim the Tool Man EJ and more one of the Tool girls there. What's up? Anyway,
yeah, I thought it was one of his better lists as far as it goes.
make sure you check it out on the Huddle Up podcast. But listen, we've talked about taking the under and all that. For me, I mean, actually, yeah, we teed it up quite a bit about the matchup, such that it is. We'll save the pick for the actual doing of the picks for that. Let me take this to you too, because another team that you don't really cheer for them, you're not a fan of them, but a team you've been kind of advocating for. No, this isn't a Utah take. I'm just.
I was like, wait a minute, are we going to college?
I picked against. No, we talked about Notre Dame already. And we're not bringing up Michigan.
I'm not on that Utes train this year either, by the way.
Yeah, them getting
nobody
beat.
is.
I'm just amazed that I had faith in Oregon State and they delivered it. It's messing with me. So
crazy?
I don't know what to do about that precisely. Them taking here or there around Colorado's old spot seems appropriate for me in the polls. But the last year you were caping up pretty hard for the Lions.
Yes.
And now they're a top 10 team. How weird does that feel? Or did you see that? I picked them to win the division, and I'm pretty sure I had them do it. Well, I know I had them doing with a winning record. I forget if it was 10 games or 9 games. I think it was 9 games, and they were going to win the division by a game.
Right.
But they're pulling away, Jim Nies.
Yeah, I think they're pulling away for 2 reasons. One, the Vikings the Vikings are either worse than we thought they were going to be, or they're what they actually were last year without luck. You know what I mean? Like,
and you don't mean Andrew Luck. You mean,
I mean, actually old lady luck. Because how many times did the Vikings win, skirt by on these 1 or 2 or 3 point wins?
5 or 6, something like that.
Right. So is this the world just balancing itself back out towards the Minnesota Vikings? And I mean, we know the story with the Bears. We don't need to continue to kick the animal while it's down.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is that the Green Bay Packers are, if they're the Jordan Love experiment. I mean, it's not that it's bad. It's just the road is a little rockier than it was. For as stable as that quarterback position has been for the last few decades.
It's just not a Hall of Fame caliber talent. You have just a competent above average guy.
Yeah.
And listen, how many people pick the pack for the bottom of the pack? I might have been one of them. I'll admit it. I'm wrong. It's okay. It happens. But you know what? I tried to tell you people that the Texans were going to win 7 games, and you didn't want to listen.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're seeing with the Lions is I mean, they're good. I think they're better than they were last year. Jared Goff is continuing to improve under this the Man Campbell regime. So like, I don't know to the student of the game report on the Earnestly Speaking podcast this week.
Right.
I don't know that I'm quite ready to put him in the top 10.
I'm not either, but he cornered me.
I'm not. I don't necessarily hate the argument though, because when you look at Jared Goff, like he's not super flashy. He's not going to be the guy that oh man, we got a minute 50, we got no timeouts. Hell yeah, I got Jared Goff in my back pocket.
Well,
but
people said the same thing about Brock Purdy too, and he got how far last year? I mean,
right. And here's the thing is like we're also not. I don't think you're ever going to look at it and go, all right, we got 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Oh man, we got Jared Goff in our
you're
back.
still gonna scoff at Goff.
You know what I mean? I don't think like you don't have that worry that like he's gonna make that really putrid mistake. I kind of joked when he threw the pick. I think it was last week or the week prior. I'm like, well, there's his interception for the season. because you know what I mean. He's very smart with the ball, and he's either going to get into his receiver's hands or it's going to be out of bounds or it's going to be in a position where the defense isn't going to get it. And as coming from a fan of a team that doesn't always have that quarterback, you know, like that is something to be valued. So I think that's what you're looking at. Is I think you have a very efficient offense, you have a real good defense, with a really, really strong pass rush. And yeah, I mean, it feels strange. And I know people don't want to like the thing that drives me nuts, and it drives me nuts as a Cowboys fan, but it drives me nuts as a football fan in general is, you know, when people talk about past history, and I get it, like we all do it, but in the same time, like the Lions team of 1999 that was, you know, 3-12. I don't know if that's what they were. I'm just throwing it out there.
Or the one where John Kitna came out saying they were going to win 10 games and then they were like won like 6, you know.
Yeah, like those teams, those seasons have absolutely nothing to do with what the 2023-2024 Detroit Lions are or will be. So all of this, you know, well, they can't win the division because they're the Lions. They can't win in the playoffs because they're the Lions. Like, yeah, history is history, but in the same time, this year is this year. Like at some point, like you got to look at what a team has and what they're building on in the close history. Look at what the Lions did last year.
Right.
Look at what they've been since I think it was week 6 of last year. They've been one of the best teams in this league.
Well, listen, and
that week last year,
I will push back with this. I don't think it's just history. I think it's a culture argument, right? I think what you're dealing with is something that you've seen teams and you've seen franchises, hell, not just in this sport. I'm sure we could come up with a baseball team that it applies to. I'm sure we could come up with a hapless basketball team. I'm pretty damn sure I lived near one until this most recent year, where they got Paolo Banchero and Markel Fultz and Jonathan Isaac got involved. Now, granted, in that case, it's not necessarily bad franchise, it's bad luck. Listen, Anthony Hardaway, Grant Hill, Markel Fultz, Jonathan Isaac are just the 4 names I think of off the top of my head where injury was the issue. I can make the same argument for the Dolphins in the offensive line, but, you know, I don't want to bring out my time with the Dolphins wire. I still might have a little bit of PTSD on that. The punchline is this, my good friend. I think there's a cultural problem, and people who said, oh, the Detroit Lions should have their kneecaps bitten off because something came in that changed the goddamn culture.
Yeah.
On or around, it wasn't during, but just before the time I wrote for the Dolphins wire, Madden Campbell came in, promoted as the tight end coach to become the interim head coach, and made some difference in that short period of time. That's how we got this head coaching job in Detroit. And damn it, give the dude some props. Maybe he won't get you to a Super Bowl. Maybe he won't get you to perennial deep playoffhood, but damn it, he's going to fix the culture. And what may end up happening, I don't have the best coaching example for this. You might think of somebody, but whoever it was, actually, it was Brian Kelly that turned the culture around. I was about to say somebody changed the culture and then Brian Kelly made it winners. I don't think that applies here. I'll come up with a better example as we go along eventually.
Andy Reid in Kansas City, Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Like, like you look at those organizations before he came in, and I think he changed the culture in both of those cities.
Well, see, but here's the difference, and not to say that anything you said is wrong. Andy Reid did it all by himself. I don't think Madden Campbell is a guy that's going to win a Super Bowl. I'm telling you, he's setting the table to attract a guy that will. Right?
Okay, so I mean, I know it's, you know, not to switch gears to your favorite sport, but there was a time where Buck Showalter with the Yankees, and then the
Yes, and then Joe Torre
Arizona
comes in.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Like, he set the table, and then the first year after he was gone, each of those two teams ended up winning the World Series.
Torre came in after Showalter, right? I have that right?
I believe so, yeah. And then I forget, because the same thing happened in Arizona when he went there for a few seasons. Then he left, and then they won the World Series. I believe it was Arizona.
See, now I got to go back and do some posts because I just said a naughty word. Anyways, but 101.
Just throw the Carl Lewis in there.
Yeah.
That's what I usually do.
Yeah, you'll have to send me that. No, but with all that in mind, buddy, so this is your fault for bringing up baseball and me being so surprised I out baseballed you.
Bro, I'm sitting here staring at the Orioles logo on my wallpaper. What can I say?
Here's the other thing, dude. Like, I was on the In or Out Sports Debate show the other night, and I out baseballed somebody talking about Derek Jeter as the best player to wear number 2. What's going on? Well, when did this happen?
Crazy
if Orlando gets an MLB team, I'm screwed.
It's a crazy world out there, Kyle.
I'm all scared. Let's do some games before I lose my mind. Jesus,
let's do it.
I goodness gracious. What have you done? I feel weird.
Like I said, dude, the Orioles won 100 games this year. I don't know up from down and left from down.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
It's insane.
Oh, don't you hate it when you go to pull up your damn music and then stupid iTunes is deciding to ask for your password and then you type it and then it doesn't recognize
you? Isn't that the best?
Yeah, it's awesome. Whatever. We'll do it without music because wait. You got some on your soundboard there, some picking some football games music.
Oh, wait, what was the song we used the last time? Let me see if I can find it again.
Roundup, right?
I think so. Hold on, let me see if I can find this.
That's the best NFL picks music of all time. Of all time.
Let's see what I can do here. And of course, now my system won't load. That's always fun. Yeah. Why don't we start the picks? I'll work on it over here. And
listen, there's actually some teams with some buys, so we might make it through. I don't know. Anyways, Big Jim, let's do the dang thing. Leading it off on Thursday night, an absolute juggernaut of a contest. In the words of Al Michaels, the Chicago Bears heading to the nation's capital to battle the Washington Red Tails Commanders. Okay, he didn't do that part, but yeah, who you got, Jim?
Well, because my fantasy team, I lost. I lost Justin Herbert to the bye week this week, and because they're playing the Chicago Bears, I picked up Sam Howell. So I hope, dude. No, look, okay, he was the best matchup available in this league for quarterbacks that were on free agency. So I'm hoping that for 1 week, that is a good matchup. So I have to take the Commanders in this one, also because the Bears stink out loud.
And I mean, as much as I want to diss that, listen, because you can't spell Howell without a pair of L's. I'm assuming after this game that he was going to be Samuel Howell because he'd have a third one. See what I did there? That being said, yeah, I'm with you. He's not going to lose to the Bears. Hosting? No, I too have the Red Tails. Next up, breakfast bowl here out in London. The Jacksonville Jaguars battle the Buffalo Bills. Who you got, Jim?
So the Jags have been over there, so they are obviously a little more settled in. It is a home game for them, so to speak.
Right.
But man, the Bills did the thing that I said that, has been my biggest criticism of them over the last couple of years, their inability to finish games. And they certainly came through this past week, and they did not let up. So I got to take the Bills, man. I really do.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have a lot more insight into this game since I do write for the Jaguar Report of SI. Bing! But I just got through literally before this show started submitting a piece that dropped during the show on the Jaguar Report about the fact that Josh Allen is already worried about Josh Allen on Josh Allen crime. Yes, Josh Allen, who quarterbacks for the Bills and is doing a good job doing it. Like, let's not talk too much trash on Josh Allen. It's not that he's a bad quarterback. He's an inconsistent quarterback. And that's the reason why I can't, put the Bills at the top of power rankings as some other. Well, there you go, Jim. Music. Woo! Other tools out there may put them at number one. No, he didn't. But listen, for my money, Josh Allen's not one of the top in passing in the league. You know who's top at his position, though? Josh Allen is tied for third in sacks with Khalil Mack and TJ Watt. There's a reason why Josh Allen is still thinking about the fact that the last time he was in Jacksonville in a home game situation, which London allegedly is, 9-6 was the final score. Josh Allen managed to lead the team in tackles while getting a sack, fumble recovery, and intercepting Josh Allen. That's right. Josh Allen intercepted Josh Allen in 2001. By the way, that's just a few weeks removed from Urban Meyer getting fired. Now that the offense is good, you expect me to also believe that the Bills will take the dub? This isn't the Miami Dolphins defense, and Andre Sisco is quickly becoming, allegedly, one of the top safeties in the NFL.
Allegedly.
Which there may be some talk to. I'm gonna get into that in the Duval Dive with my guy Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country here on Friday at 11. Thank you, Jim. But all that to say, with that excellent promo of my articles and my other podcasts, I have the Jaguars, Jim, the Texans, and the Falcons. Who you got?
Dude, man, CJ Stroud looks to be the exception to the Ohio State quarterback in the NFL rule. The Texans seem to be rolling. I know everybody in both South divisions, I believe, practically is 2-2 at this point, but something's got to break. And I think if I'm going to bet on somebody breaking, it is going to be the Atlanta Fraud Con. Give me the Texans.
I love you realizing that the fraud cons were overrated from moment one, and suddenly Ab Stanley and Danny Thompson aren't responding to my inquiries. Anyways, my punchline is this. I have the Texans for this one, too. Your CJ Stroud point is great, but there's also another guy that was picked damn near at the top of the draft that did his job as well. Will Anderson Jr. is a bad mamma jamma on the edge. You know what Josh Allen did to Desmond Ridder? Scared him into 3 turnovers. Now, I'm not promising 3 Desmond Ridder turnovers, but I will set the over-under at 2.5. I'll give you that. I have the Texans for that.
Over.
Oh, you're going over. Okay.
I'll take the over.
By the way, I liked how you turned over in the homer there. I could barely tell the difference. Anyways, the
Homer.
one set of cats battles another. The Carolina Panthers battle Jim's Lions. Do we have to talk about this one? I'm not. Listen, I'm as much as I scoff at golf, maybe it's time for me to admit that I was off on golf eventually. You know, right? You off on golf. You feeling that? I don't know.
Maybe we got something there. Maybe, perhaps.
Whatever. It was the best way to talk about Man Campbell. Go ahead, Jim.
The Frank Reich experiment looks to be off to a. Man, it's bad. Like I can't even come up with anything clever. Like he's out here trying to explain the Adam Thielen play, and is like talking himself into circles that he can't untie. Like, man, it's everything's rough down there in Carolina. Like I get you got a rookie quarterback and all that, but dude, it looks rough. Yeah, this one. I mean, I'm obviously not picking against my NFC North champions. This is absolutely Man Campbell time.
Excuse me, sir. Our NFC North.
Our.
Let's get that ish right. I'm more intrigued by this game than I feel like I should be, but I still am. The Tennessee Titans head over to Lucas Oil to battle the Colts. Jim, who you got?
I'm sorry. Was that I got distracted by this ad that popped up on my YouTube there for a second.
Was it for popcorn?
No, sadly it wasn't.
The Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. Who you got, buddy?
Ooh,
right? Exactly.
Like dude, the Titans aren't good.
No.
The Colts also not good, but I think they're
great, Bob.
They're improving slightly better than
not great, Bob.
Than the Texans are, or the Titans are, excuse me. And I'll give it to Indy at home. I'll give him the edge at home. Looking later in the year when this game's in Tennessee, we'll see where those teams are at that point. But yeah, give me the Colts at home.
You know, that's not a bad take by you. I'm gonna do it. And now, granted, if I see the injury report tomorrow, it says DeForest Buckner isn't practicing, I'm going to curse again and realize I was wrong. But between the quarterback play and such that it is, and the Colts offensive line being better than you would expect it to be, I think they can hold up against that Titans front to do enough to give whoever the quarterback is, be it Uncle Rico, Gardner Minshew, or the man they call AR there, Anthony Richardson, the 4th overall pick. I got the Colts at the end of the day. What can I say? I'm glad I don't know a Giants fan because they're playing Miami after losing to the Bills the way they did. Anybody? Yeah, we'll move on. Anyway, the New Orleans Saints versus Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Jim.
Man, this season for the Patriots is it started like kind of okay, and man, it's taken a rough turn. Like it really has taken a rough turn for the Patriots. Questions at the quarterback position, valid questions at the quarterback position. Bill Belichick, arguably the greatest coach in the history of the game, but it looks like the man who is undefeated, Father Time, may be coming to collect on Bill Belichick. And here's the thing, like it was, at some point it was going to end, right? Like it was going to end. And it certainly looks like that's where we're at. He's still looking for win number 300. I don't know that he gets it this week. Now, if Derek Carr, I know he played this past week, but with Kamara back, the Saints looked better. I'm not going to say the word good, but the Saints looked better. And I'm going to give the Saints the edge in this one, man. The Patriots, I get the Saints aren't as good defensively as the Dallas Cowboys are, and probably not offensively either. But the Patriots showed me nothing on Sunday to tell me they should win this game.
Yeah, you may have heard about a little really noticed trade about the Patriots picking up a cornerback. That's because Christian Gonzalez likely out for the year. Mikey Byrne and I both agreed as the midseason awards are just about a month away that this guy was a Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate. Well, what happened was likely after the season is what the headline.
It's not good.
I don't know if we jinxed him or not, but at the end of the day, I have the Saints, Jim. So I am with you on that. This is an interesting matchup. Well, actually, it would have been at one point, and it's looking less so at the moment. The Ravens head over to the venue formerly known as Heinz Field, the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting. Jim, who you got?
If Kenny Pickett was playing, I probably would still go Baltimore. If I'm being 100% honest about it. And I don't think the Steelers haven't showed me so far that they are what some people thought they were, right? Like it hasn't been a good first month for Pittsburgh.
Right.
I don't know if it's the injury to the receiver, was it Johnson? Now the injury to Pickett. I don't know exactly what it is, but they haven't looked great. Not that the Ravens are blowing the doors off anybody, but they do kind of look to be the better team right now, especially, if this guy is under center.
Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is.
Like that's not good for anybody. So give me Baltimore.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Kenny Pickett may have been what got them to the playoffs last year. I don't know if it's the offensive line. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Dallas, whatever his name is, or the offensive coordinator. Matt Canada. That's it. I was joking, Jim. Take it easy. But no, listen. The punchline's this: that offense is the problem. I know they blew the doors. I know the Ravens blew the doors off of the Cleveland Browns, but the Steelers beat them too, on the strength of the fact that Watson can't handle being the villain, and I don't believe Watson started when the Ravens played the Browns, and they whatever. I'm with you. I have the Ravens, such as they are, the Eagles and the LA Rams. Jim.
I think this is going to be a closer game than a lot of people are giving it credit for. It certainly will come down to the hip. And no, this isn't a joke about how cool Matthew Stafford is or how old he is. But it is the actual hip injury to Matthew Stafford that is being, that is calling into any question this game. If Stafford is healthy, I think this game is going to be really, really tight. I haven't really been shown exactly how great the Eagles are this year. I don't know that this week is that week either. I will take the Eagles, but I think this game is going to be tight late.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp's coming back to practice, but I don't think he's going to be playing in this game to challenge the allegedly weak Eagles secondary. At Days In, my guy, I'm with you. This should be a more compelling game than we think, but I think the Red Tails game is going to end up being closer, and our good friend Matt, the AJ Hawk of the Huddle Up Podcast, his Eagles prevail. In what is arguably a way more scary game than it should be, Joey Burr and the Bengals head over to Tempe to battle the Arizona Cardinals. Jim.
Ooh. Boy, a month ago, we wouldn't have even questioned this, right? Like a month ago, we would have been like, Bengals next. It's been a rough go, really, for Cincinnati. And look, the field conditions in Arizona are not good.
Not great, Bob.
They are well documented, not good.
Not great, Bob.
On the world's biggest stage for football, too, I might add.
Yeah, twice the college football playoff and the Super Bowl last year. And they weren't great a couple of weeks ago. That's not the reason the Cowboys lost. The Cardinals beat them. So I'm not making the excuse there. But with that combined with the calf, sorry, Mikey B, I'm going Cardinals.
You know what, Jim? I'm glad. I don't know if you heard me typing during your rant, but what I was typing, I shouldn't call it a rant, your explanation, but what I was typing was 3 letters into my Excel sheet. ARI.
Yeah, man.
The Colts too. A team against a team we both picked to win the bleeping Super Bowl. What's going on?
It's been a weird month, man.
Anyways, the New York Jets and the Denver Broncos.
My God.
The Denver Broncos.
Talking more about games that we thought would have been better when this season started.
Just when you thought that Thursday was bad, here this Jim comes. Oh boy. Listen, yeah. Who you got, Jim? Goodness gracious.
Here's the deal, and I said this a little bit last night on Huddle Up, that when given time, Zach Wilson made some pretty good throws on Sunday night against the Chiefs. And look, again, nobody's ever going to confuse him for a top 10 quarterback. It is just not going to happen. But if he gets time,
that depends. That depends on your topic there, Jim. I know there's plenty of Cougars out there that put them in the top 10.
Well, top 10 MILF hunters, maybe. Top 10 quarterbacks, probably not. But here's the deal, man. Like, if given time, there's weapons on that offense. Breece Hall is no longer on a pitch count. That defense, really good. This is going to be a win for the Jets, and I don't care about the icy white helmets for the Broncos. It ain't going to be great for them on Sunday. Yeah, Jets win this one.
So, Jim, if I was to ask you to give me a defense that has made even the best quarterbacks in the league look absolutely pedestrian, who would you answer?
The goddamn Jets.
I was waiting for it too. Well done. By the way, you expect me to believe that Russell Carrington Wilson at this stage in his career can battle that defense? How about no? Okay. Then on top of that, the defense.
Hell no.
Well done, sir. Tracy Morgan for the win. The Denver Broncos, by the way, are a defense that has underproduced greatly. Just like the Chiefs defense have overproduced and were the difference to eventually catch up to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson isn't going to have that problem. He's going to be feeling confident after this game. Give me the New York Jets, my friend. On the road, by the way, even in Mile High. I don't care.
Yeah.
Speaking of quarterbacks that looked pedestrian against the Jets defense, because it's the Jets defense. Can
Right.
somebody give credit to the Jets defense?
Seriously.
Ha! Okay, I'm good. Here's something interesting. It's not exactly a primetime matchup, but the Chiefs battle the Minnesota Vikings. Are we really doing this? Whatever.
Chiefs.
Yeah. And the defense continues to make Kirk Cousins look bad and wish he was a family man, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go to the Monday night game because we know what the Sunday night game is. Green Bay battles the arguable worst coaching job in the world in Josh McDaniels. I have to hit the S that hard. I don't want anybody to confuse him with Mike McDaniels, and the S is for sucks. I got the pack, right?
Yeah. The Raiders are a dumpster fire on wheels rolling down a hill. It's just bad news.
Filled with hot dog water, yes. By the way, did you want to end the segment on that game? No, you didn't. You wanted to end it on this game. All right, Homer. Who you got as you try to make your way into Santa Cruz?
Homer.
Look, okay. Let's get the obvious out of the way. It's the Dallas Cowboys. But here's the thing, and this is what I said about this game on Huddle Up last night, is I think we're going to learn a lot about both teams because, the 49ers started their season with a big win against the Steelers. Steelers don't look to be the team that we thought they were. And since then, I mean, the Giants kind of hung around in the second half a bit. The Cardinals do the things that the Cardinals do. They hung around a little bit in the second half. So I think there's spots a little bit. You pulled away late in the third and into the fourth.
But you said they struggled in the second half, and then you said they pulled away late in the third. Like if the Irish did that, you would say it was a dominant performance. What are we doing here, Jim?
I'd also be facetious when I said that, Kyle.
Fair. Anyway,
but so
great exchange.
I mean, to be fair, like I tweeted after the Notre Dame Duke game that we had them right where we wanted them the whole time. Okay,
right after blaming the officials for how long? Anyways, continue.
Well, I wasn't wrong about that, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, you're the boy who cried ref. How do I know when it's right or not?
I don't know. I mean, if you didn't watch the game, then I guess you shouldn't even be judging it. But anyway, neither here nor there.
I had that one teed up for a while for you, Jim.
I know you did. I like that. The boy who cried, the boy who cried ref. That's pretty good. But here's the, so I think we still have a little bit to learn about the 49ers. I think we obviously have more to learn about the Dallas Cowboys. They haven't been tested yet. I think when the Cowboys want to be really good, they have the capability of being really good. They have a really, really good defense. They have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. It's just a matter of putting it all together. I certainly, based on my prediction, think this will be the week where it happens. And obviously one of the big keys in that is a guy that unfortunately got hurt on that very field last year, and that is Tony Pollard. He looks good. He looks healthy. Hopefully remains that way.
Looks like he's getting effing used. How about that?
Right. Amazing what happens. Again, addition by subtraction when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys this year, and they're not offensive coordinator anymore. So yeah, I think those are going to be the differences for Dallas this week.
So, you want to talk about stuff with the Cardinals, okay? There's one quarterback that went 25 for 40 passing the football against the Cardinals. There's another quarterback that went 20 for 21 passing against the Arizona Cardinals. And it's not so much this or that versus the Arizona Cardinals. You tell me a football game where you say, yeah, sure, I believe Dak Prescott can go 20 for 21 in a game. No, you don't. Brock Purdy can do that ish, and he doesn't have to do it all by himself. He doesn't have to throw the ball 40 times because Christian McCaffrey scares the Jesus out of people. And get Joe. I don't mean to throw you off. You look like you're middle of something, but I need a Joel Klatt if you don't mind. You just remember you're producing my show,
And rightly so.
thank you, sir. Yes, but listen, man. I know I alluded to it earlier, but this game may come down to who makes the mistake and who's going to make the mistake between these two. It's not going to be Brock Purdy in this world.
To my point, Kyle, the third quarter ended with the Cardinals down 5, okay? That's all I'm saying, right? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying the Niners didn't have control of that game. I'm just saying the Cardinals were within 5.
Well, let's have another conversation then. Let's have another conversation then. Name a coach who you've asked to have fired into the sun. Mike McCarthy or Kyle Shanahan?
Well, I may have in anger wished McCarthy or Shanahan to also be fired into the sun.
See, well, yeah, but both of them were to protect you, and one's for you and one's against you. Figure it all out. Of course I'm picking the 49ers at home. Are you kidding me?
Homer.
Yeah, Homer as in they're the ones hosting. Maybe in Jera world it would be different, but I don't expect Dakota Prescott to hold up to handle his weight, because he's going to at some point, because you're trying to run against Fred Warner and Bosa and company. May the force be with you. Parsons is Michael Parsons is going to be dangerous, obviously, but he can't be everywhere. If Pollard gets shut down, are you feeling good about Dakota winning the game? I am not. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, watch me totally blow this. I'll be real. I talked about this at the in or out sports debate last night, and at the end of the day, I said the Niners will probably be undefeated longer than the Eagles if they win next week. If they win this week.
And yeah, I mean, and I think that's probably fair as well. But yeah, it's look, like this is going to be one of the marquee matchups of the season when you talk about the NFC. This obviously has potential to be a future playoff matchup as well. It's two of the best teams in the conference. Like it's what a Sunday night game should be. Like, let's be fair. This is what primetime football should be, not the Bears and the Commanders.
Well, that's Thursday night in fairness.
Well, yeah.
See where you're going.
Yeah, you got to pay extra. And you got to pay extra for that.
Hey, listen, I'm there. I'm there to watch Good Omens and Catastrophe. That's why I'm there. I watch those shows with my wife. I don't really watch football there. Like Thursday night, I'm usually watching it on some other whatever. We're not here for my personal watching habits. That'll do it for the picks, Big Jim. It's all good. Buddy, tell the world where you can be found.
Yeah, you can follow me at Big Jim Sports on Twitter. You can hit the link tree there. That's going to get you to every podcast project that I got going on. I got the Huddle Up podcast. That is live every Tuesday night. We got my observations, or as you guys call them,
just this week. And by the way, EJ was the one that made it all gross. I just agreed with his statement.
It's what he usually does. Like,
listen, I'll say it as I said it. If you mind, I will promote it for you as I did on Twitter. If you're an Irish super fan, check out this week's Observations with Big Jim.
There you go. Yeah, we have a lot of great content over there. We not only the weekly show, we got a lot of side projects on the feed, which is great. The YouTube channel, which this show airs live on your Duval Dive as well. So plenty of content on the Huddle Up Podcast Incorporated. If you like wrestling and just anything else, check out 3CT. We have the wrestling show live on Thursday nights. We have the Tuesday podcast, which is a mixed bag of dear God anything. So just come check that out if you like that. Discussions with a Nobody, kind of on the back burner a bit. That kind of ends up happening in the fall, but I'm sure I'll get some thoughts down there.
Well, especially this fall when all your teams are doing well. You have all this happiness surrounding you.
Right, exactly. There's no melancholy candles to light in this house, at least not for right now. But like I said, you can go to @BigJimSports on Twitter. You hit the link tree. Everything's there. That's going to be the easiest place to find it all.
I mean, hell, even your wife's Wolverines are doing well. How do you get time to get out of the house to play golf, if you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I always find a time to put it in the hole, Kyle.
Oh, snap. Get that. Wow. I wasn't ready. Woo. By the way, I have a quick experiment. Hold on.
Who is sweat if I ain't sweat? Sweat.
Okay, I played something propping Deion Sanders and you didn't burst into flames. Okay, I'm fine.
Reality has shown it as reared its ugly head. No, look, I'll get
reality. One touchdown away from tying up a game against a team that they were supposed to get blown out by without their best offensive and defensive player.
I also think that says a lot more about USC.
Well, as you said, in your continued hate and Irish love. That is the observation.
No, man. Like I said, I've never been a fan of Dion, even when he played on this team that I am wearing tonight on your show.
I really hated him when he was a Niner. Oh my God.
Oh, absolutely. And then when he was a member of the Washingtons as well. But I will give them a ton of credit for not giving up in that game. Like, in the post game, I know he talked about, like, if you can't see what they're building here, you're crazy or blind, or I forget exactly what he said, but yeah, you would have to be like that team is absolutely on the up and up. And not to Ernest EJ Christian, the Colorado, to like what he did with the Jaguars, but like, especially with the exit of Oklahoma and Texas, like I would not be shocked if Colorado is one of the teams that is heavily favored for the Big 12 next year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Big 12 is a mess this year. It's an absolute mess this year. And I say it as somebody who's covering the conference in question. First of all, how many damn Big 12 teams have lost their quarterback at some period of time?
Right.
What the craziness. By the way, I don't know. You probably didn't hear this. I was on the Jeff Allen podcast. Apparently, if you play UCF, your starting quarterback comes back. Thank you, sir. And writing for the Black and Gold Banneret as well. I've seen this happen. I think I might put together a commercial. Big 12 teams. Is your starting quarterback injured? Try playing UCF. That's right. Playing UCF. Miraculously make your quarterback come back to life and start. See Will Howard, for example. Sure, he was limping like Byron Leftwich, but there he was. And allegedly,
that's a classic game, by the way.
That is a classic. Your quarterback was out after week 1. But don't worry, Baylor. Your starting quarterback will come just in time to cause the biggest collapse in history playing UCF. You're worried about Kansas's quarterback? Not so, Jayhawks. Here comes UCF.
Here comes the Knights.
Side effects may include Orlando fans being pissed off. So that's where we're at, dude. It's a funny thing. Anyways, of course, I am Kyle Nash, student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a student of the game. Check out my writings on the Jaguar Report, but which literally right now, you could go to the Jaguar Report and see me talking about the potentiality of what Josh Allen fears about the concept of Josh Allen on Josh Allen crime. Check that out, Jaguar Report. And of course, my work with the Black and Gold Banneret, the Night Shift podcast coming out here later this week, probably drop Friday morning if you are watching this live. And, that will be Friday the 6th if you aren't. So there you go. Get yourself ready for UCF heading over to Kansas to battle the Jayhawks to try to get a Big 12 win in here. Goodness knows they let one slip out with Baylor. And you could check out my night class on that Baylor UCF game of how I thought that happened and how I graded the team out. In that particular instance, you'll be surprised, I guarantee you. But also, you can check out my work with the 3-point conversion and A7BN Sports. Don't forget, Friday at 11, the Duval Dive is a thing. And of course, all of the above can be found and on your favorite podcast. And by the way, any of this stuff streams with my man, the CEO in the building, on the Huddle Up Podcast YouTube channel as well. Folks, in honor, joy, and privilege, special thanks to Mark Mancini for jumping aboard. And of course, my man, the CEO, the decent human being that I know. See how it rhymes now. I feel so rhythmic with the wave. My man, Big Jim, thanks for coming aboard, my guy. But until next time, everyone, class dismissed.